On today's show, the surf is up. MasterCraft Boats builds the endless wave for endless fun.
People are passionate about outdoor equipment.
Get this, Americans spend $30 billion a year on gear.
But no one ever really sees how their stuff gets made.
That's where we come in.
Made for the Outdoors. Made for the Outdoors is presented by Warner's Dock.
Welcome to my happy place. If you know me, you know I love the water, and water sports are my #1 passion, which is why today's show has me so stoked. There are numerous wake boat brands out there, but MasterCraft is one of the best. And today we get to see how a MasterCraft boat is made for the outdoors.
Water skiing, wakeboarding, wake surfing, you name it, I do it. The MasterCraft brand was always heralded as one of the very best in towed water sports.
The brand was founded in 1968. Originally started out focused on the sports that were most important then, which was first and foremost skiing and, 3-trick events. Succeeding skiing was first wakeboarding, and boats then were redesigned to tune into that sport. Our X-Star is a phenomenal example of a very successful offering, that dialed in to the needs of that athlete. And then now it's wake surfing, far and away the most popular interest.
Whatever your water sport of choice, MasterCraft makes a model that'll suit your needs and then some. With the birth of new sports and new technologies, these boats have grown incredibly sophisticated. Here in Von Orr, Tennessee, MasterCraft designs and builds vessels with touchscreens, ballast systems, and more options than you can count. These boats are like floating spaceships. MasterCraft offers numerous models designed for various activities. But today, we're making a MasterCraft X22, a top-tier wake boat.
This is it. This is HQ and the factory where MasterCraft has the capacity to build up to 4,000 boats a year. And I'm like a kid in a candy store, so let's go build our boat.
The process begins here. It's the engineering team's job to incorporate all of the features to not only work flawlessly, but to look good too. Once finalized, the designs are sent down to the factory floor. For a production of this magnitude, I expected to see robots and automation. Apparently, I'm not the only one.
People think that it's a very automated process and there's going to be a lot of robots and everything. But when we say handcrafted, we mean handcrafted. Every detail of the boat, it's all hand done.
Derek would know. One of his jobs is giving tours of the factory, and today he's showing us around. Our first stop in the factory is mold prep.
Derek, this is where it all begins. But I'm pretty sure our boat's not going to be green, right?
That is correct, Alexa. This boat is actually not going to be green, so we, with all of our molds, we put them in a green color because we don't have a color that represents this color of green. There's 3 different types of molds. There is the deck, the hull, and then the stringer systems.
So in this station, in mold prep, what's actually happening?
Yep, so in mold prep, what we're gonna do, we're gonna clean the mold to make sure that when we do apply gel coat, there's no imperfections when it pops out of the mold. So eventually we're gonna, wax the mold, make sure it's nice and clean.
So it's kind of like greasing the pan before you make brownies.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So you mentioned there are like 3 main parts, and this one is kind of the one that goes in the middle?
That is correct, yep. So this is actually eventually going to sit in the inside of the hull.
Okay.
So this is kind of like that spine in your back. This is what the stringer system is in the boat.
Just providing support for both the deck and the hull.
Exactly. Make sure that the fiberglass isn't going to flex or anything like that. It's going to stay consistent when you're going over rollers or on a choppy day on the lake.
Both the stringer and the deck are gel coated, but the hull requires another step. You might expect the hull to come out white and then get painted, but it's the gel coat itself that provides the hull color, requiring a steady hand.
It's crazy to see just how deep the hull is. These are huge, huge vessels. And of course, we've got the guys taping the lines, so your custom colors are perfect. So this is like the template, the paint by number thing
Exactly.
here.
Yep. So this is the work order that all of our workers get to see. They design that boat off of this work order here. So this boat's going to be white and orange and black. So that's what you're going to be seeing over in this area.
Right, and you can still see kind of that exposed green where he'll be putting a different color down.
That is correct.
This is why those tape lines are so important. So they have the tape down, they sprayed it black, and then they pulled that tape off, so then they can apply the second color that'll go over this. But look at how clean those lines are.
The gel coat cures and the boat moves on to lamination.
This is a lot of hands on one boat at one time. What is there, 10 people here?
Yes,
to
exactly.
fiberglass this?
Yep, so what they're doing right now, they're putting sheets down on all of the places that are more, I guess, perceptible to bend.
So they lay the sheets, and then is there a spraying component as well?
There is, yep. So there is a fiberglass chop, and it gets sprayed onto the boat, and then it gets individually rolled into that gel coat. So eventually, from start to finish in lamination, there will be about 9 layers of fiberglass throughout the whole process.
This is the thickness of the fiberglass and the gel coat on a boat. Those are all those layers that we saw them laying down with the sheets and the spray fiberglass, and that's the gel coat. Pretty cool.
Here at MasterCraft, they strive for world-class quality and performance. So quality control is implemented at every stage.
Our boat's looking pretty good, but there's a lot more work to do when we get back.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Warner's Dock, Aquarius Home Services, Old Dutch, quality snacks since 1934, Winnebago Industries, be great outdoors, and by Keystone Light, here's to living smooth, celebrate responsibly.
Welcome back to Made for the Outdoors. Here on the waters of Tellico Lake, MasterCraft builds boats focused on performance, comfort, quality, and innovation. In doing so, the company creates a product that brings family and friends together on the water.
It has a unique ability to provide social interaction for a whole range of different interests. I'm a grandfather. My kids are in their 30s. I've got grandkids that are teens, preteens. We can all go out and enjoy the entire day on the boat, all dial in what we're doing to suit ourselves. I don't know of anything else that you could do all day that provides activity, provides sport, provides relaxation. It's safe, and it can be an interest, multi-generational, and modified and adapted to fit whatever the abilities are.
Sounds like a good time to me. Let's get back to work. We're building an X-22 wake boat. Our 3 main components, the hull, the stringer, and the deck, have just been formed with gel coat and fiberglass. Now the deck and the hull are glued together with some seriously strong glue.
This is wild.
Yeah, so this is a giant press. So it's pushing 2,100 pounds of pressure per square inch down on that stringer system to condense with that hull. Like we said earlier, that stringer system is kind of like your spine in your back, so you want to make sure everything's held together.
So for the glue, for that to dry, 2 to 4 hours?
2 to 4 hours approximately, yep.
Not Elmer's?
Not Elmer's, no. A little stronger.
While the adhesive cures, I have a question for Derek.
This seems pretty heavy. How do you get a boat to float?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do right here in this process, we're actually injecting liquid foam into the stringer system of the boat, and that's what creates the flotation on the water.
It still just blows my mind, because how heavy are these boats? 5,000, 6,000 pounds?
Especially, yeah, even more with all the ballast and everything else that we're adding in them.
Right, after ballast, you're talking about almost 10,000 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
That's some pretty serious foam then.
Yes, definitely.
The boat's main structure is complete, and good news, it's gonna float.
Derek, these guys look like the pit crew at the Daytona 500.
What they're doing right now, they're putting templates, or jigs is what we call them, on the boats, so you don't have to worry about misdrilling. You're gonna put that screw in the exact same spot every single time, no matter what model you're making.
All these holes give you just a little sense of how intricate and how many different features go into one of these boats. From attaching the surf tabs, the swim platform, the ballast hoses, all kinds of different features. All of these holes serve a purpose.
Speaking of components, around a dozen individual features, like the cup holder inserts, the dash, and swim platform, are injected molded right here at the factory. Resin is injected into a mold, cured, and voila. So many moving parts. I can't wait to put it all together when we get back.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Star Bank. Old Dutch, quality snacks since 1934. Winnebago Industries, be great outdoors. Finishing Trades Institute of the Upper Midwest. And by Guy Metals.
With our hull and our deck ready to go, they enter the assembly building. Here there are 20 stations of assembly, and this is the first one.
The boat's deck and hull move down the line side by side. Throughout 20 stations, over 1,000 parts are fitted on each boat. And it's all done by hand.
This is a business that people understand they're building something special. It's not the easiest place to work in terms of the complexity of their jobs and their tasks. There's a great amount of content in each one of the workstations as product flows through, and they have to really understand that, and it's not something that we can substitute a machine to perform. For the foreseeable future, we will be totally dependent on the capabilities of our people, training those people, retaining those people, and motivating them.
Workers begin at the boat's rear, installing surf star tabs, swim platform brackets, exhausts, etc. Next is the ballast system. This is key.
Also, a lot of people ask, what makes a wake boat a wake boat? And that has to do with the ballast and under the floorboards. Some of the boats have almost 4,500 pounds of water that, go inside the boat to create that wave for wakeboarding or surfing.
After ballast comes underwater gear, including the shaft, tracking fins, the rudder, and the propeller, followed by electronics. Almost everything on the X22 is controlled digitally by touchscreens. And of course, no wake boat is complete without a killer sound system. We've talked about the structure and componentry. Now, let's talk about power.
MasterCraft has an exclusive partnership with Ilmore Engines. They make engines for their boats ranging from 363 horsepower all the way up to 630. This one here is 430 horses. That's a lot of horsepower.
After going down the line separately, the deck and the hull are married together in a process called capping.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing. I think this is a marriage that's gonna last. Every piece of upholstery is hand-stitched right here at the factory, and it all happens right up here. Christy, team lead of sewing up here. There's a lot of ladies doing a lot of stitching.
Yes.
Everything is done by hand?
Yes. So everything is cut. So we start off in our gerber. That's the beginning. And then you'll go to piecing, which is what this lady on the two ends are doing.
Yep.
And then you'll go to top stitching, and then you'll go to finish sewing.
Christy doesn't do a whole lot of sewing anymore, but Janice, on the other hand,
You've been here for 20 years? Is that what I hear?
25. My son, for 19 years, it laid by us when I was there. So I wanted up here in sewing, and they offered me a job to come up here. And they come up try for 2 weeks. If I liked it, I could stay. If I've been here since. You know, MasterCraft has a good name for itself, and just, you know, being there all these years, I feel good about what I do.
innovation is at the heart of MasterCraft's ethos, right down to the seats.
Years ago, having a really dark or a black upholstery was a no-no because it would get so hot. But MasterCraft was one of the first boat brands to come out with Cool Feel, where it actually feels 30% cooler. There is a certain blend in here that allows the upholstery to reflect 30% of the sun. So you can have black, look cool, feel cool.
Down on the floor, our X22 is nearing the finish line.
We made it.
During the last stage of assembly, the seats, the tower, and the MasterCraft signature curved windshield are put into place. Before any MasterCraft boat leaves the property, it's water tested for up to 90 minutes right here in the factory's backyard.
You know, they're out there 4 days a week, maybe 5 days a week. I'm out there all the time, but people say that it's the best part or the best job in the whole factory. I sometimes beg to differ because they're out there when it's 100 degrees and sunny or when it's 36 degrees and raining out.
Our work in the factory is done, which means I'm going to throw my swimsuit on because we're hitting the water when we get back.
Made for the Outdoors is brought to you by Star Bank, Old Dutch quality snacks since 1934, and by Guy Metals.
Welcome back to Made for the Outdoors. Here in Tennessee, we've seen our MasterCraft boat go from engineering sketch to fully functioning vessel, and it's touched a few dozen hands along the way. But now it's time for me to get my hands on it. I'm going surfing.
Ready to rock?
Ready to rock. All right, let's check our work.
For MasterCraft employees and customers alike, being on the water is more than a job or a hobby. It truly is a lifestyle.
A lot of these people in the manufacturing process, design process, even on the assembly line, they are MasterCraft enthusiasts.
I would be fully remiss if I didn't admit it's my favorite pastime, wake surfing and foiling. Our vision is to instill a passion for the boating lifestyle. It's that simple. And our mission is, to provide the best customer experience vis-a-vis superior products, high quality, and services.
Well, MasterCraft is definitely made for the outdoors. Every piece of upholstery